This thing's been a pain in my backside for a really long time. Welcome to my garage. And I've got two main problems here. This is a nice little chest that my wife has had for a very long time. It's been in a storage unit. Kind of is junky, but we want to use it. We want to keep some blankets in it or something, and needs to be refinished. First I thought it was cedar, but I'm pretty sure it's pine. So I need to sand it. And the number one problem I have with sanding right now, and I don't know if this thing's in focus or not, the problem I have with sanding right now at this moment in time, I don't know what just happened. It's cold outside. Like blistering cold. And I don't want to be out there, and I don't have any sort of dust collection. What I do have, what I can show you, is I have an orbital sander with a dust port. And I have a small Craftsman shop vac. Now, this is great and all, but the problem here is that these two items don't match up. And seeing as I've taken a 2-hour course in Fusion 360 on the internet, I'm probably professional enough to be able to design us something to make these two items made up. Some sort of coupler, if you will. So we can actually get some sanding done in the garage while it's wet and cold outside. So let's hop into Fusion 360 and we'll look at that. See how this goes. Alright, Fusion 360. Again, not a professional, only been doing this for about 2 hours, so I'm going to try my best, you know. Anyways, first thing we need to do is create a sketch. This is how, remind me to, well not remind me, I'm going to tag the course guy in there that I'm learning from Udemy, but basically the dust port on my sander is 37.5 millimeters, so I need to make a circle that is 37.5 millimeters. And I think it's like 37.45 or something like that. So the 37.5 should give me a little bit of tolerance for it to slide on. And I know that I want a 3 millimeter wall on the coupling, just because that's what I've been doing with my 3D printer, is making things 3 millimeters. It seems good to me. So then I'm just going to delete that inner diameter, kind of pivot that around, finish the sketch, and I've kind of come up with the determination that I want this to be 2 centimeters of contact with the tool. So I'm just going to extrude that 20 millimeters, and bam. Now here's kind of where it gets a little weird, is I'm going to make a offset plane off of this surface from the tool. So I'm going to make an offset plane of 10 centimeters or 10 millimeters or 1 centimeter offset plane. And on that plane, I'm going to draw another sketch right in the middle of my shop vac, of the size of the port, the dust collection port on my shop vac, the nozzle of 31 millimeters. And then again, since I know I want that to be an offset of 3 millimeters to give me the wall thickness I need, I'll offset that and delete this inner circle. Okay. So again, we'll finish that sketch, and then we're going to also just extrude that another 20 centimeters. Or 20, I got to stop saying centimeters. So that's going to give us 2 circles. That's our 2 tool faces. Now here, I keep messing this up, but I believe all I need to do is select one surface, and I can go into create and create a loft, and loft between my 2 profiles. And that gives me this kind of coupled shape, which I really like. And then we hit OK. And we also need this. This is where I think there's a better way to do it, because I would assume there's like a way to hit this whole entire body and make it a pipe, right? I don't know if there's a better way to do it. But the only way I know how to do it is to hit that surface and come over here and modify it with a shell. Where is shell? I can't even see. Maybe, like, I would assume one of these is probably the better way to do it. And since I know my wall thickness of 3 millimeters, I just type that in, and that gives us this really nice shell. But it leaves us with a problem area of right here where it's still closed off. The only way I can figure out to do that is to extrude that surface -3 millimeters. And that gives me my perfect little tube. And that is essentially the design. I'm going to throw some quick chamfers on the whole outside. I'll do like a little round over, a fillet. Fillet. Yeah, so we'll fillet this like a fish. I'll just do like a 0.5 over the whole thing. Kind of give it some clean edges. The guy I'm learning from brought up a point of like, stuff's not sharp in the world. So it, makes a good point to kind of put these use a fillet whenever possible, just to kind of give stuff good feel in your hand, if that makes any sense. But that's it. I'm going to export this over to my slicing software, and we'll slice it, and then we'll 3D print it, and we'll be good to go. I'll see you in the slicer. All right, here we are in Cura. This is the slicer of choice for me. I don't know about everybody else, but chances are if you're watching this video, you're kind of into 3D printing. So let me know if you use Cura. I use Cura. For this part, I don't really mess with settings too much. The only thing that I change on this is in my infill. I'm going to make that 75%. Usually, depending on what you're printing, I usually try to keep this pretty low, but since this is going to be kind of like a rigid part that I want to last a long time and not break, I'm going to set that infill to 75%. And pretty much with 3 millimeter, with a 3 millimeter thickness and like a wall thickness of 0.8 millimeters, so you got 0.8 on each side, you're really only going to have like 1.4 millimeters of infill anyway, so the whole thing's pretty much going to be solid. And we'll slice it, and you can look at that. And the wall line, I don't really change too much stuff. I don't know a lot about 3D printing or 3D modeling. I'm just kind of winging it, and I'm trying to get out of the habit of just finding things on Thingiverse and printing them. As cool as that is, I want to be able to make my own things and come up with my own ideas, and even if they already exist, make them anyways, because I think that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead and slice this down. That will take forever on my computer. All right, there we go. Looks like 3 hours and 6 minutes, 20 grams of filament. I should also note I'm going to be printing in PLA. Probably should use a better plastic, but my 3D printer lives in my home, and I don't want to run ventilation, so we stick with PLA. The standard quality type stuff. Let's take a look at what it will look like, see if we can get a view of that pattern. Real quick. Oh, I need to save it, apparently. Okay. But yeah, as that prints, it's only going to be, look at that. It's so tight. That infill's so tight. It's going to be very strong, and I think it will last a long time. Let me know if anyone out there knows how to... Is there a way to set my printer to not have this seam? I don't even know if I'm capturing my mouse pointer, but this seam where it starts the layers over, is there a way to almost print it in like a spiral motion? Maybe someone more knowledgeable than me. When I'm looking at stuff like this, there's like that one little spot that looks kind of like a weakness.
and that would be that seam right there. But I think this is going to look good. 3 hours and 6 minutes, we should have something good to go. I'm going to send this over to the printer and hopefully get a time lapse. We'll see. Later.
Right, sometimes you have to use your imagination because I don't know how to make the video thing work. So just imagine that this is printing that coupler going, and then yeah, let's go see if it fits. All right, cool. We're back from Fusion 360. We've got this super sweet device that we printed. Hopefully it fits. I think it does. I did a little test fit real quick. Totally fits there. Totally fits here. And now we can sand inside and not get dust everywhere. So let's give that a shot.